It says I'm on the air. How exciting is that? Welcome. Welcome everybody to Pure Dog Talks live at 5. I am your host, Laura Reeves, and I'm super excited to have you all join us. I am also super excited because tonight's special guests, Carly and Cameron Simpson, the co-founders of DOGG, are longtime friends of mine, and I'm very thrilled for them to join us and share about their project. So, while everybody is hopping on, we do have a couple items for the good of the order. In case you haven't heard, recently we launched a new, very cool opportunity to access the archives. So when you've got 600 plus episodes, only 200 of which actually drop on your RSS feed on your iTunes, there's a lot of material you guys may not even know exists. So I've done all the searching and the hunting and the pecking for you. And for the introductory price of only $1.99, you can download an entire album on topics like breeding and whelping hands-on, interviews with the legends in our sport, veterinary voice with Dr. Marty Greer, um, pep talks for owner handlers, love the breeds from the specialists in each of them, and just a whole lot more. And there's more coming. That's one of my big projects for the first of 2024. So there you go. As always, our success is your success. If you haven't yet, do check out our exclusive, very special, very private, nobody can just walk in Facebook patrons group. Your added perk is the Pure Pep Talk, which is a weekly text message with sort of an upbeat, fun, educational tidbit, usually drawn from my archives. You can sign up for the patrons group and the pep talk messages for as little as $10 a month. I mean, that's a whole lot for a whole lot less than anybody else can offer. And that's for a whole month. Of course, we're always willing to have more support, and more support gets you more access. So there's that. Bottom line is your passion is our purpose. And that's really important. So check it all out on the website, puredoggtalk.com. So now let's get our party started. Welcome, Carly and Cameron. Just a little history. I've known these two very accomplished young women since they were both competing in juniors in the Northwest. They've successfully pursued highly competitive careers, each of them. In fact, you guys might remember, I actually looked it up. It was episode 419 where Carly and Cameron joined me to talk about specifically how their juniors career impacted their professional lives. So now Family Affair has brought this skill set back to the dog world. And they have created a program, an app actually, called DOGG, which is cutting edge technology that matches human attributes and lifestyle with the right dog breed, connects users with responsible and verified preservation breeders by dog people for dog people. So exciting. And offers a multitude of training and support options to nurture a forever happy companionship. Okay, I'll say forever. So,
Yep.
so you guys, while we're chatting about this new project, how you can participate, what the long range goals are, etc., go ahead, drop your questions in the chat. Natalie will share them on with us. And hey, y'all, good to see you.
Hello. Great to see you, as always. Super looking forward to answering everyone's questions. So I hope we get some good
Everyone's
ones.
questions. Well, that people get questions, man. So so give
Yes.
us a little background. I mean, I know you've done your spiel, but give us the background. Tell us how this came about. Talk about how this is you guys and your mom and your brother. I mean, it's just so fabulous.
Yeah. Shout out to our mom who's listening right now.
Hi,
Yes,
Mom.
Joseph.
Thanks, Mom. She always shows up.
That's the thing about moms. They always show up, man.
Always.
Ours especially. She showed up for everyone. That's part of our childhood was going to 4-H program, the dog 4-H club. Our mom was the leader, and she grew that club to maybe over 70, almost 80 kids. and helped train a lot of kids to handle their dogs, obedience, and just kind of manners and some showmanship as well. And we were really fortunate to grow up with a kennel with many dogs, and we had a breeding program for golden retrievers and Chesapeake Bay retrievers mainly. And she was able to place a lot of these dogs in 4-H homes and kids' homes that grew up that are still showing, and professional handlers and breeders. And so it was a really fun journey to kind of watch. And we've been inspired by her our entire lives. So it really is something that it's a legacy of hers that we're continuing and bringing into this kind of modern age. And so we have a training program that she has developed, and we'll
Nice.
be digitizing that and then making it into a really usable interface for people to learn how to train their dogs and understand their dogs more on a psychological level.
And there's a
And
real background to that program, right? I don't know how much you want to get into that, but there's a lot of background to that program.
It's pretty cool, actually. I mean, through raising us, she knew what a big impact dogs had in our life. And
Mhm.
she actually was an athletic director at Echo Glen Children's Center, which is a juvenile delinquent center here in Washington State. And she essentially developed a program modeled after our 4-H dog program. And she would adopt dogs off of death row and pair them with inmates in the institution. She developed a program that mimicked the rehabilitation that these kids were receiving and adapted that to dog training. So these kids would go through this whole program, 8 weeks long, and have a partner in a dog, train it, and realize through the process, the hope was, and it happened quite often, that they could rehabilitate themselves if they could rehabilitate this dog. And so the whole motto was, second leash on life. And these kids would adopt out these dogs to families at the end of the 8-week program. And it was a really amazing program. It
It
still
gives me
is going on.
goosebumps still. I've known about this program like since it was going on, and it still is just amazing to me.
yeah, it's a super good resource for everyone involved, and it's been fun to watch it flourish for the last 20 years. I mean, really, I remember clearing out the warehouse that she started it in. It
Right.
was just like a storage unit on the detention center, and she turned it into a kennel where it has a full profitable business where they have grooming and they have training and they have the adoption, and the kids learn all those basic trading skills as well.
Just incredible. And that's the foundation for the training program that comes with the DOGG app.
Yeah. So right now we're not at the step where we're building the training. What we're doing is we're building a breeder network and a breeder resource center first. And so we have a website where breeders can apply to be a breeder on our platform, and through this, they themselves get resources that can help them manage their dogs, help them keep all of their dogs' data and paperwork and registrations and health clearances all in one place and easy to easily accessible throughout any time that they need it. And so we're building that, and then we're going to build a connection where puppy buyers can find dogs through our breeder network, find puppies, and apply to be a puppy owner through our process, and really start pre-vetting a lot of puppy buyers before they even get to the potential breeder. So we're helping the breeders along the way in a lot of the resources and kind of the pain points of what breeding is and how to place homes. And we understand that firsthand, and we know there's a lot of things that go into breeding, minus just taking care of the puppies, right? Because
Hi,
that takes
hi,
90%.
here I am. I have, how old are they? 6-day-old puppies, and I'm truly, my brain is glue. This is why I was so excited you guys were going to be here tonight. I'm like, I don't have to think really hard. I can just like wind you up and turn you loose.
Well, and so we understand the plight of a breeder, and we know that there are so many things that can be beneficial to provide to breeders for them. And then we also want to bring their just their knowledge, their expertise, and the narrative of shop responsibly. We want to bring that to the general public. And in order to do that, it first takes compiling this huge amount of information that this niche breeder group has and digesting it and then outputting it into a way that's easily digestible for the general public. So that's what we're set out to do on the app side and on the website side. And that starts with the breeder network so that we can start gaining a lot of their expertise too. We want to be very curated and breed specific. And so, a breeder that is really educated in Samoyeds might not know a lot about a Jack Russell Terrier. And while we might know a lot about sporting dogs, we don't know a lot about toys or terriers. And so we recognize that there's a group of individuals that specialize in breeds, and we want that really heightened education to be a part of our program as well.
And you've had some really great early buy-in. A lot of us who are actively involved in the sport, a lot of people who have been willing to quite literally buy in, as well as support and encourage and give advice. So talk a little bit about that and that ability to work within our community.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about Cameron and I think, is that we stepped away. We were so involved early on in dogs, and we, like you said, were very involved with junior showmanship, worked for handlers. Sorry, I have a puppy in the background that's being, a puppy, distracting us.
Podcast,
but
it's okay.
I figure if anyone, you guys understand.
Okay.
But, we're very active in juniors, and we're very fortunate enough to work really hard and learn a lot from our mentors and the handlers that we worked for. And we stepped away from dogs for a while, not just in, having a dog. We've always kind of had dogs in our family, but for competitive dogs. And we worked on our careers. Cameron is in the bicycle industry. I'm in the television industry. And we focused on that for quite some time. And then we stepped back into it. And it was kind of like riding a bike. We jumped back on and we, just took off again. And it was so fun to just jump back into things and feel like the sport welcomed us back in. And we've had that support from the sport, from the people that, used to be our mentors and still to this day are. So
we're looking at one of them.
Right. So it's really fun to be back a part of it, and in such a different capacity. I don't think Cameron and I ever would have dreamed that this would have been the path, but right. We're so excited to be on it. And it really all started when we had been doing this for friends. What we're doing currently in this company.
Just finding the right puppies for the right homes of our friends who are looking for dogs and don't know where to start, right? We all know that,
right.
Anyone
We've all done it.
Come to you and they're like, where do I get a dog? Because you know what? It's not easy. It's not easy to just like go to Google and be like, find me a great puppy that has the best structure and the best health and best temperament, like go. Google can't do that. AI can't do that either. Unfortunately, I've tried, and ChatGPT is not very helpful in this, but we are, because we're in that community. And so we all usually do it organically, and we do it just very manually. And so this takes that manual process and it automates it. It makes it very simple. It gives a user experience that is modern and fresh and easy to digest for the general population.
Well, and I think, and it's one of the things I said to you guys when you first started talking to me about this about a year ago, is that you bring so many components of what you need. Not only are you dog people straight up, but you're young people. You talk young person language. Like I can't, like I can pretend to be 35, but I ain't 35, right? So it really does make a difference, the ability to reach people on a peer level, I think it's so imperative.
Yep. And that's, that was part of what we recognized too, is Carly mentioned that we have developed these skill sets, which are very different from each other's, but very complementary. And she has a lot of this production and creative directive and a lot of this, development on the production side. And I have development on business operations. And so most recently I've been building bicycle marketplaces and dealing with vendors and procurement and logistics and actual business operations, customer service, all of those teams have been what I've developed my skill set in. And so together
here is a short hair, like wreaking havoc, just in case anybody was wondering.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. 4-month-olds, just nightmare.
Okay. Like I said, dog podcast. It cracks me up. This is what we call cinema veritas.
100%. But yeah, it's been a very organic journey as well. I mean, we very much kind of had this idea and said, let's run with it. And then we took it more seriously and started reaching out to individuals that we know that have really good skill sets that can help us in business and development, website development, all that sort of fun, boring jazz. But the reality is we're building this. We're being funded. We're building it. We have a usable interface that have we have over 300 breeders, and we have approved over 100 at this point. So we're still going through and approving breeders and dogs. So we just started that process a couple weeks ago now, and so far it's been really awesome to see all of the breeder profiles and all of the health clearances. Everybody it seems to be in step with the mission and with what we're trying to achieve. And if we have to send back a profile and say, hey, we don't have the thyroid clearance, then they get it to us. They get it to us the next day, and everyone's really happy about it. So from the breeder community, it's been really a positive response. And the only criticism we've gotten is, please don't do what some of the competition has done. And we're really, we're committed to doing this for our breeder community. And that's going to be a number one throughout the business journey.
Right. And go ahead and define that for people.
Yeah.
So that they really get it.
So it's a great point. We talk about this all day long. And so we sort of always need to back up and remember that we're the only ones that are in our heads here. But so we're creating what we call the kind of first health regulated breeder network of its kind. So there's no other current network that requires the health clearances that your breed club recommends. And so we went through and we've established every breed that's registered AKC. We'll expand very shortly to other breeds, but every breed that has recommended health clearances by their breed club is then vetted and made sure that if a breeder comes on our platform, they have those health clearances and they've passed those clearances. So that's just the bare minimum to be on the platform.
Number doesn't do it.
Right. Nope. Right. So that's the bare minimum to be on the platform. And from there, we have other areas where you can kind of go up in ranks. You can go up in different levels of badges, of achievement badges. And so everybody starts with a bronze achievement badge. That means, congratulations, you've done all the health clearances for your dogs that have been uploaded. And that's where they start. And then you get awards and achievements, and you go up further in kind of that hierarchy of breeder badges. So we're really excited to bring this to the breeder community because it's needed, and anyone that is in this community knows it's needed. And so we feel just very obligated to bring that out and into the public in a successful way.
And talk to us about, you call it matchmaker, right?
Yes.
This is such a cool, this is like one of my favorite parts, right? The matchmaker piece.
It's fun. We took a lot of time on that. It's what we call our puppy matcher. And we created a series of questions that all have a series of answers. And we spent a lot of time, hours, on each of the questions and ranking each of the dog breeds with regards to those questions and answers. And so not one person is going to get the absolute exact match at the end, unless they answer every single question the exact same way. So there's a lot of different variables, but our intention was that we really want to pinpoint what is the right breed match for the right human and their lifestyle attributes, what they'd like in a dog, all of the things that you and I and Cameron and our dog community knows are the right things for the right family. But we feel like that's where it starts. That's where the journey really begins,
The
is
John
making
public end of that journey starts there.
Exactly. We want people to really feel like this is the absolute perfect match for our family. And we see the problems that come when that's not the case. And so we want to start there.
Yep. Right. Yeah, I was actually through this journey, I was really shocked to find the statistics of why dogs are surrendered in shelters. And it was over 90% of the reasons are literally just a bad match with the home. It's a bad match with the home. The other reason was the people died and they needed a new home. But if the people didn't die, the reason that the dog is being surrendered is a reason that was preventable. And so that's really where it comes to. We have this obligation to prevent these mismatched dogs from going into homes that might be great homes, but not for that dog. And so that's this preventative approach. And it starts with that puppy matcher and taking a really analytical approach on how to match certain breeds with homes.
Well, and I say this all the time. We have a question waiting, but I really want to draw this out because the perfect home for a German Wirehair Pointer, which is a versatile hunting dog with a wire coat, is absolutely not the perfect home for a Spinoni Italiano, which is a versatile hunting dog with a wire coat. And that's the kind of nuance that the matchmaker tool I think can really bring to the conversation. So we have a question from Renee Wagner, and I know the answer to this, but I'm going to let you guys take it. She asks, is there a fee to the breeder for participating?
There is no fee to breeders. This is a free program to breeders. It's a free resource. At this early in the game, we're asking for feedback. So more feedback and more ideas, the better. We want to build this with the breeder community. We've gotten great feedback and ideas from our breeders so far, and we want to make sure to incorporate those and how we build it out. So there is no fee for breeders. The fee comes in if a puppy buyer is matched through DOGG and you decide that there's a puppy for that person. We collect a 15% essentially service finder's fee from the puppy buyer.
Perfect. And talk a little bit, again, some of the nuances here I think people need to get an understanding of. This is for purebred dogs only. Yes.
Yeah, it's for purebred dogs only. And they must we require all of the health clearances to have been passed for an of-age dog in order to be uploaded on the platform to be a sire or dam. That is not saying that Carly's 4-month-old German Shorthair Pointer can also be on the platform. You just don't check the button that they're a sire or a dam at this point.
Right.
Because ultimately we really want this to become a database also for breeders. I can speak from immediate experience that I am looking for someone that I'm going to breed my bitch to, and who will that be? And I have to dig through photos and ask for pedigrees and all sorts of fun things that are really inconvenient. And I'd like to be able to go to one source and be able to see it all there. And that's what we're doing. We're going to allow you to upload each dog in your breeding program. We'll allow you to add photos, a pedigree, anything that you'd like. It's also really useful tool for breeders themselves to add things like, certificates or clearances or a microchip number. I just added Parker's microchip number to my DOGG account because it's an easy way to keep track of those things. which I find very difficult as a breeder to keep organized.
Right. Right. And I think, that the thing that people maybe just have a hard time getting their heads around in the dog, our world, right? Like, you shouldn't have to advertise your dog. You should have that entire litter sold before it's ever bred. And how dare you, blah, blah, blah. Boy, and we wonder why people buy doodles, folks, because we have made it impossible to buy a purebred dog. And I think that your project that you're working on here, the DOGG app, really is an answer to a huge question, which is, why don't people buy purebred dogs? Well, because they can't get one.
Yep.
That's exactly it.
It is. It's 100% true. And a lot of that is marketing resources, right? I mean, we're not here making profits on breeding dogs. And so the people that are advertising really well, and that is doodle people. And so they advertise very well. They have a great website, all these sort of things, and their dogs are cute and fluffy, and that's all the people are looking for. And so, to have
that and the ability to actually get a dog, right?
right,
Most people that want a dog, and I say this all the time, people that are looking for a dog are not liable to wait until they're, kindergartners in high school before they get a dog, right? Like, they want a dog.
And it's also worth noting, this is going to be a slow change, but it is a narrative change that we're prepared to start educating the general public about.
The conversation. Yes.
We liken it to like people understanding fruits and vegetables being organic versus non-organic, right? That wasn't a thing, and then it was a thing, and people are like, well, now I should probably start considering about, learning about what goes into the fruits and vegetables and the meats and the food that I eat. I should learn about that. And so this is very similar. People just don't understand that dogs need to come from good pedigrees and good backgrounds and have good health clearances and good temperaments and have this consistency that only the small network of breeders actually achieves.
And growing that network to be not so small would be great.
Let's
build the number of purebred preservation breeders. I think that's a great goal. So that the person doesn't have to wait 6 years.
Exactly. And one thing we hear often is, oh my gosh, like, I could never have a show dog like your dogs. And that's, I think, sometimes a really big misconception, because most of our dogs are not show dogs. Most of our dogs are pet dogs. Even our show dogs are pet dogs. But the point is that most of our litters don't become that show dog, and they belong in family homes and deserve an amazing life. And we want,
and that family deserves the temperament tested, health tested, solid animal that they get that's been raised by a preservation breeder. I mean, I just think that's a fair thing to ask for so much of the community that wants a predictable, guaranteed idea of what they're going to get. And not everybody wants that. And great. Okay, fine. Then there's other options available. But if that's what you want, you need to have a way to find it. So, quick question we have from the audience. Sorry to break in our patter here. Jackson. Hey, Jackson, how you doing? Jackson asks, is part of your breeder ranking inclusive of things like breeders doing temperament testing? Question 1. Another question for you, are past clients able to leave reviews of the breeder that they got a puppy from?
Awesome questions. Part 1, yes. Temperament testing. So there's achievements as a portion of our platform. You as a breeder can put down any of the achievements that you've earned throughout your career. And then each dog has their own page and profile, and you can put their achievements down as well. So temperament test is actually, I've seen it as a health clearance mostly, but there are all sorts of different achievements for awards, like even CGC or CGCA or Trick Dog. There's over 300 or so different,
Yeah, even more than that,
different achievements that you can put down as a breeder. And our second badge is the silver badge. So you can move from bronze to silver if you have more than 10 achievements or awards through your program. So it's basically celebrating your activity within a certain dog sport.
And just to piggyback on that, speaking directly to the temperament testing of dogs, we want to put it into the breeder's hands to use phrases, and we're going to make it really easily accessible for them to add things to a dog. I know in my GSP litter, I have dogs that are going to be on all sorts of angles of the spectrum, some that are going to be more, well adept in the field. And so they need that home that's going to be active and want to do hunting. Whereas there might be some in the litter that are going to be the opposite of that spectrum, and they're going to be wonderful, lower energy. Well, not too lower energy. We know it's a GSP, but there's going to be that spectrum.
There is a range. And I think, Carly, that's really important for people to understand. In a litter of, I've got this litter of Spinoni. There's going to be some that will be hard pressed to roll out for a movie time. And there's going to be others that are going to be balls to the wall and really want to be hunting all the time. And that is part of the diversity. And yet part of the breeder's job is within that litter, right? Finding the proper placement. So getting as much information as you can about the owners ahead of time is what makes your job as a breeder so much easier. So to Jackson's, the second part of Jackson's questions, and we have a few more comments coming in.
Yes, the reviews, we're absolutely going to include reviews, and that will be on a breeder, internal breeder network reviews, as well as puppy buyer and kind of user buying side reviews. So if a user buys a puppy from a breeder, they can review that breeder, as well as breeders can review each other and send us internal feedback. So we'll have kind of this community
of checks and balances,
and that's going to be internal, and we have a full process of vetting any claims or anything where we can then just make sure that everything is accurate and true. And if anybody has any issues, then they can come to us, and it'll be an anonymous kind of a situation. The one thing Carly was saying on that last point, just on that last point, when you upload a puppy to your litters, there is a selection for that puppy where, as a breeder, you can say if this is going to go to a companion home, a show home, or a performance home. And so that just shows the little puppy's profile as well. So we have some things like that also help the puppy buyers and the breeders kind of decide where homes should be.
I like that. That is definitely cool. So Lauren Fettner, who I know is a wire hair person, she says, I just took the match quiz and it said wire hairs are my best match. I think it's accurate.
Yay! Good job.
For something to come up with wire hairs as a match, I mean, it has to be well researched.
That's right. We worked really hard on that. So it's always like a really awesome compliment when we hear someone say like, oh, this worked for me. And I have 2 of these breeds, or I'm thinking about 2 of these breeds. And I think probably most of the time people take it, they give us that feedback, and it's really amazing. It's also always going to be a work in progress. It's an algorithm that we can change at any time and tweak it a little bit to change certain things. So we're really excited to just get really even better at it. And I think that's
a bit nerdy, as they say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
I love it. And I've a comment here from Shane Elizabeth supporting what we were talking about, that the education piece, the changing the conversation piece, and for people to understand why they spend $2,000 for a preservation breeder dog instead of the $200 Craigslist puppy, and the difference that entails. And so I think that a huge piece of this is that helping change that conversation is an enormous value to the community. So you guys are doing such an amazing value, an amazing service for us. What is it that we can do to help you? Now is your time to
I
speak
mean,
up.
sign up as a breeder, go through the process, add your dogs, give us feedback, give us the hard criticism, give us what you liked about it. If you're familiar with other programs that do similar things, tell us what you like, dislike about their programs. This is as much for us to build together as it is a resource for the breeders. So we really want them to feel that when you sign up, you're a part of our really tight-knit group, and we're going to build this together to make this the best. So, be engaged, like us on Facebook. We interact with our breeder group on Facebook regularly. We ask for advice. We ask for breed-specific curations of products and training techniques, because we really want to make this the resource where a German Shorthair Pointer pet owner can come to us and learn really curated products, really curated training advice for that breed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that
Absolutely.
takes you guys as breeders to help us.
Yep.
Okay. So say that I happen to be someone that, came into a windfall and I wanted to really support this organization. Is that an option?
Come help us run the company. No, it is an option. Thank you for bringing that up. We have we've been really blessed and fortunate to be funded. Over 90% of our investors are dog people, our breeders, our professional handlers, our vets,
Our judges, breeders.
deeply in the community. And there's a strategic idea behind this, which is when we become a multi-billion-dollar company, there's going to be big corporations that want to buy pieces of DOGG. And if we can stack all of our ownership up this early on with dog people, we'll never lose that control of how we run the company and what rules and values we need to stay within our community. And that gets really hard to promise when you're a large corporation and a big guy comes in and buys it, or a portion of it. So this gives you ownership in DOGG early on and gives it the ability to
Control
flourish
of the
with
voice, I think, is so important.
Right. Yeah,
That
exactly.
narrative is really important to us.
We're actually we've extended our friends and family round, and so we're in friends and family round right now, which is our
Top
highest.
two people don't necessarily know what that means, honey.
Yeah, so it's the first level of buying into the company. So it's the ground floor of our company. It's the highest percentage that we give in the duration of DOGG It. So every round after this, the ownership of a stake, if you buy part of DOGG It, will go down. So right now is the highest stake you can buy in at. And the investments can start at $10,000 and go up. So we have it in an area where if you are able to contribute and you want to be a part of this great resource for breeders and for really the whole dog community, which includes your neighbors next door and down the street and your cousins that want a doodle, it includes all of them. So it's being part of DOGG It early on is where we're at, and yeah, so you still can get involved. If you do have any investment interests, then please contact us anytime. You can find us by searching
The
DOGG It.
website, I'm pretty sure, is up in the comments, you guys. Yep. The website is doggit.app, and I'm sure there's a contact button there. There you go. And I know that is a great opportunity. So what else would you like to share with us, ladies? And what other questions do we have from the audience? Jenna says she got a wire hair and a Spinoni. So I'm thinking we're doing pretty good.
Yes, I think that's good.
Love that. One of the big things I would like to bring light to is our process in vetting puppy buyers. One of the big things that we have heard from our community, and we know it ourselves, is it takes a lot of time to find the right people, right? And of course, you take our puppy matcher first and you hope that that person gets connected to your breed, and that takes away, the prelim, guessing if they're right for your breed. But we go a couple steps further than that. We have compiled a number of puppy buyer questionnaires from a number of different breeders and have completed what we have a 2-step process, a pre-application for a potential puppy. So a puppy buyer comes to our site and they say, okay, I think I want to pre-apply. They fill out this questionnaire, and we actually will take that questionnaire and score it. And we will then push that score, as long as it's high enough, to our breeder, and they will be able to see all of those questions, understand the score, see why a puppy buyer rated a certain way, what answers they had on those questions, and they're able to then say, yes, I want this person to get my final questionnaire. And in that final questionnaire, we've again compiled a lot of different questions from different breeders' questionnaires, but a breeder will be able to add their own questions to that questionnaire as well. And we'll push that out to the puppy buyer. And that's what they get then as their final application. And from there, the breeder and puppy buyer are able to start talking, as long as the breeder feels confident that they're the right match. So we want to take away some of that, crazy time-consuming communication that happens leading up to, is the right puppy buyer.
Right. And the frustration from the puppy buyer's side that says, I emailed this person and they just ghosted me and they never got back to me because P.S. I haven't slept in a week and I don't have time. And so that's real.
That's real. That's real. And we're here to help take that weight off of your shoulders and put it on ours. We strongly feel that breeders are really good at breeding dogs, and we should be able to be experts and really good at all of the other things that make their lives a lot easier. So that's our mission, and that's part of why, we feel like we want to vet puppy buyers the way we are before they even get to your plate.
Right. Absolutely. And then talk to us about, you mentioned it's the funding for the scheme is the 15% service fee. Talk to us about what options do you guys have, or what have you considered? And I don't even know that I've talked to you about this, for follow-up, for after the puppy's placed. So, the puppy buyer has their puppy and you've got the rating, you can rate but is there anything that you are thinking about in terms of having available for that follow through that, again, sometimes breeders just get so caught up in, they're not as good at?
Yep.
As they
be. There's so much that we're going to offer, and we are taking it slow, step by step. But post puppy gotcha day kind of support on both sides is going to be really a heavy lift, and we're there on all steps on both sides. So for the puppy buyer, we want them to go home with a puppy kit that we can curate for the breeder, and the breeder can have those in advance at their house and send them home with the puppy. So we want to be able to have like a DOGG kind of priced lower than retail for all of the products to help support the breeder and the puppy buyer after the puppy goes home. There's going to be, of course, training that we're going to give to the puppy buyer, all that sort of stuff to walk them through health, like vet notifications, all that sort of stuff will be right there just on their phone. So they don't have to stress about, what shots do I need to get done? What's next? What are the next steps? From the breeder side, we are going to open like a chat group. Every litter will have a chat group. So all puppy buyers that purchased a puppy from DOGG will be in a group together, so they can ask the questions kind of like you all do right now on a Facebook group. But it's just keep in the platform. So it's all in one place. You can go to that litter. You can go to all of your past puppy buyers from that litter. You can talk to them right there. You can have all of your past communications. You can open up into the chat group. All that sort of stuff will be just right there and easy at their hands. And then, we do want to include like whelping support. So we want to have support. So when you are whelping a litter of puppies, you can put all of their information down just as it goes, walk you through, like a lot of people do it on books and paper still. This will allow you to transfer that to a place that's digital. Right. And you'll have it forever, right? And so will the puppy buyer. So it actually could be a very interactive and really a fun time for the puppy buyer if you upload that, blue puppy weighed in at 1.5 pounds today, or, pink puppy, and you've already placed these puppies. It could be a really fun, engaging atmosphere for both the puppy buyers and the breeders, without the breeders having to go 8 different people and message an update about 8 different puppies, and like that can get so disorganized so quickly. And this just is a very easy way to kind of monitor and take care of all of that.
And like Karen said, I mean, eventually there's just so much, right? We have so many layers.
It's all in the planning stages, you guys.
These components will happen eventually. And like Cameron said, step by step, we really want to make sure that people are joining as breeders and can get this
for free. Teresa, it's free.
Free.
That's what I was just going to say. You guys can see the questions too. Good.
I love that pug picture.
It's not cute. I love it.
Yep. So free to you guys to use. And we just want to be building this network first. And that's why we are rolling out all of our breeder features first to gain our network of breeders. And then we'll go live to the public in 2024.
We'll have brand partnership supports too. I mean, we're gonna have a partner for pet insurance. And that partner for pet insurance is going to have the best dang rates for breeders. And so, we're going to work with companies and speak for you as a breeder on your behalf. But we'll have a network of breeders. So we have that leverage to speak to these large companies and say, we want to negotiate this rate for breeders. And so things like that and partnerships in the future, we're absolutely going to bring to the breeder network as well.
Even things like travel concierge. Like, what if somebody needs to get a puppy from Pennsylvania? What if you just want to take a puppy to Pennsylvania? We have people in our network. We have so many great, trusted resources that all of our community uses that have been putting us in touch with these great people that we can count on to do the job well, and that we trust as breeders and handlers and owners. And we want to extend that out to the public.
Right. And I think one of the things that I love so much about this is that we all have so many skills. And I am shocked by it all the time, and I shouldn't be. Dog people, we think we're dog people. And then you start talking to people and like, damn, this person is like so smart at X or Y or whatever. And so I think that is one of the joys I see in this, is really incorporating some of the amazing skills that are out there in our community, and by dog people, for dog people. I'm pretty passionate about that. So
as are we.
Yeah.
But we're also super, like, we're by dog people, for dog people, but we're here for not dog people. Like, right. And so it's a very inclusive atmosphere where we absolutely want all of the expertise that this breeder network really does enjoy to share. But it's difficult to share it to everyone that needs it. And so we can build by numbers a much more powerful platform where we can get the message across. Because we can get that revenue and that business and that monetization to afford the advertising and the education that's needed for the general public. And that's what it's all about. It's about being big enough to have leverage and a piece of this conversation. And it's needed, right? It's needed. We talked about it at the top of this call that the doodle breeders are like, they do really well at their narrative.
They're very, very it is amazing. And I have said more times than once, we need to pay attention and, find ways to use some of that skill set, because the community of people working in that particular kind of niche, if you will, are very successful. And they really use those talents. And there is no excuse for people in the preservation breeder community in our niche to ignore those skills, because somehow it's gauche to tell people that you have a litter of puppies available. Right.
But it also,
you got to move past that.
A lot of these doodle breeders are doing it as their business, right? And so they get good at marketing, and they get good at promoting, and converting their message into sales. And so for us, we are building this business to get really good at marketing and get really good at educating about this network of preservation and purposeful breeders. And that's so close and important to us. But that's not it either, right? Like, that's one sector of it. Then there's the training, and there's the home life and the care and the products, and all of these avenues get really overlooked in a lot of different areas. I mean, I'm not doing well at enunciating what I'm trying to say, but
they're oversaturated, right? It's like, where do you even go for those resources? Because there's just so many, and we just want to be that source of, an all one-stop shop, all under one umbrella, to come and trust that we're going to give you the right answers, and we're going to steer you in the right direction. And it's easy. It's really easy.
It's got to be easy.
Yeah. So, final question, and I think maybe the toughest one. I think it's, when we're talking in our community of dog breeders, this is an easy conversation to have. Talk to me about how it is when you guys, 30-somethings, go out into your world of non-dog people and have this conversation. Talk to me. Tell me, what are the things that you are able to communicate, how you're able to communicate them, the word choices, the phrases, because that changing the conversation piece that you do with your friends is the bigger picture that we need to take out to junkie public.
Yep. It's patience and enlightenment, right? It's patience. That let's back up and let's talk about some analogies that you understand, right, as the person that I'm talking to. So a lot of people do understand the organic food kind of trend, and why you want to pay attention what happens to your food before you get it.
Tomatoes.
People pay attention to that. Yeah, they didn't think about that maybe 20, 30 years ago as much as they do today. 20, 30, 40 years ago, people would smoke while they were pregnant, and that was not a bad thing. But then all of a sudden, people started learning that it was a bad thing. So all it is talking to people in a way that they can relate to, and pet people can relate into, would you like a dog that, you're handed an 8-week-old puppy, and this dog has, maybe a 30% chance of being calm and sweet, and, a really good head on his shoulders, or it could be a basket case. You have it's a 50-50, or you go to a puppy that's handed to you, and you're like, 80% chance this one is, it's going to be soft, and it's going to be quiet, and it's going to be calm.
Well, and it's going to have short hair, and it's going to have this weight, and it's going to have consistency, right?
In temperament and in structure. And so, if you break it down to them in the way that it's like, you're really getting a Yahtzee roll unless you start paying attention to these factors. And most people would prefer the non-Yahtzee roll. And, it's going to take longer for people to understand that having a dog that doesn't fit and suit their needs is not fair for the dog, and it's not fair for the family. And that's something that, really is quite easy to explain to someone when you talk to them about an experience that they can have.
And that's it.
And to be avoiding that experience.
That's exactly it. We are the advocates for the dog. We want what's best for that dog, right? And we have these tools and this information that I think people love learning. I think our society now is more of a society that's willing and accepting of understanding things better. And with the patience that Cameron talked about, and the relatability,
Patience
I
and
think
enlightenment.
that
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. And we just want to fight for what's right for the dogs.
So, I mean, our fix of the narrative, because the narrative is adopt, don't shop, right? We've all heard that. We've all rolled our eyes in the back of our heads of how misguided that statement is. And the correct statement is adopt and shop responsibly. And the responsibly part is, don't go buy a Mazda Miata and expect that it's going to work in the middle of the mountains in the wintertime. Like don't buy the wrong car for your needs. That's understood. So it should be understood for your dogs as well. Don't buy liver and onions
Dogs
if you don't like
last longer than the car.
Right. So, it's a principle that's used in everyday life, everywhere, in every home for so many different things. It just hasn't really clicked yet for dogs. And for us, it's overdue, right? It's like
Yes.
we see it as our obligation to tell the general public it's adopt and shop responsibly. And here's the responsible way to do it.
Here's how you do it. You don't go on Google and type something in and hope you're going to get all the right answers. We know that in other areas of our life. We're not going to do it when, we get a bump on our head, because that's going to send you down the wrong path, let me tell you. So the same thing is going to happen when you're searching for a dog, right? So we want to provide a source where people can come to and they can get it all in one place.
Love it. Love it, love it. Gotta have it. All right, y'all. DOGG It app. Carly and Cameron Simpson. We are so grateful for your time and your energy. Anybody has any questions, we've got the website link in the comments. They're on Facebook. They're all of the places. And I am super excited to watch this grow. So good job, guys.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you.
We so appreciate it. This
Thanks
was so
for everyone
fun.
tuning in.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
This is perfect. This is perfect. All right. Thank you all, everybody, for joining tonight. Thank you, ladies, for your time and your passion. I love it. And we'll be in touch down the road. We'll kind of keep an eye on how DOGG It's doing. How's that?
Absolutely. Please. That'd be great.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Good night, y'all. Thanks for joining us. Anybody that missed it live can catch it on the Facebook or on YouTube.